Oh. 엄청 좋다. चलो अब मैं गेम स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ बाद में लॉगिन ना मांगे बस ये
Oh, what a surprise! A letter from Mualani! It says, the people of the springs are hosting a... Well, that's a... Whoa!
You're here! Finally!
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Durvalette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for yourself.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this. I will say this once more. You must tell me yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruin.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins?
That's correct. Which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates. The second of...
I don't.
I'll ask you, my disciple...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been what? Well, since you know about my secret investigation, there's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the ATHEX, but you're still my subordinate. Just trust in me. That's all I have to say. We do not Oh!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door?
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed. Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her... We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parts. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is increases. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this. But who will lend us?
इनकंसिस्टेंट होना बहुत ज़्यादा मैं बीच बीच में छूट जाता है मेरे को स्ट्रीम वगैरह का, तो बहुत कम लोग आ रहे हैं. चलो वो सब कुछ ठीक हो ही जाएगा जब मैं एक बार घर से आ जाऊं. बस तबीयत बड़ी ख़राब हो रही है, बार बार चीज़ें हो रही हैं अलग अलग. एक बार घर से आ जाऊं सब ठीक हो जाएगा, फिर कंटिन्यू रहेगा हर एक चीज़.
Well, that's everything. Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most
That's what family should do.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know. Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you?
Me?
Then, how about you, good...
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see.
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
ना भाई
I'm
उसमें
afraid
वो
not.
काउंट नहीं होता है.
You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components: bait. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates...
Yes, and I even managed...
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong.
Come instead.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such but I do have one more question for you, monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So...
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but maybe it's...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunt, but we shall require much more courage than any...
Oh, so that's...
frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks... it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience. After all, you're the most reliable person... did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't know... then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened.
Who's that voice?
Aw, have you forgotten?
Wait, you are...
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. You're feeling lost now.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम बड़ी
Consider
जल्दी
me a
आगे
cup of
बेटा आप तो
prophecy. Yeah,
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usual, are
बाकी
the
सब
things
कहाँ है?
that you
वेदू,
shall
ज़ेन्स?
see
What?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. Oh, this was
ए
good
थोड़ा
tea,
स्पॉइलर
by
दे
the
दे
way.
मेरे को
Thank you for your
Chris,
hospitality.
समझ नहीं आ रहा है यहाँ
Well,
पे हो क्या
that'll
रहा
be all
है
for
ये किसके
today.
लिए
The voice.
ये किसके लिए ट्राई कर रहे हैं किसके लिए ट्रैप बिछा रहे हैं थोड़ा स्पॉइलर दे दे मेरे को ये ट्रैप किसके लिए बिछा रहे हैं मॉन्स्टर बोल रहे हैं मॉन्स्टर तो वो देखा था वो जो ड्रीम आया था चाइल्ड का उसके अंदर था एक मॉन्स्टर उसके लिए बिछा रहे हैं कि ये फुरीना के लिए बिछा रहे हैं क्योंकि फुरीना मेरे को नहीं लगता है वो आर्कॉन है
Alright. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. Not all Fontainians are.
Did she have...
Why, yes. I'm in full support.
That's right!
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed, huh?
अभी पूछा ना मैंने क्या स्पॉइलर फुरीना इज एन आर्कॉन
Goodness
बट
gracious.
नॉट एट द सेम
Are you
टाइम
serious?
क्या नॉट एट द सेम टाइम मतलब
She said that even the god's gaze has blind
वो
spots.
वो
Pretty
एक नहीं है
good
ना
if you ask Paimon.
वो अलग अलग है ना
Most people would believe the gods...
The Hex and Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, but I've never met her.
Whoa. The Hex and...
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you
मुझे
personally,
क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है
then
कि
the
वो
problem you're facing must
वो
truly
एक नहीं
be
है
of great
वो बहुत सारी
importance.
हैं
Well, it's
Furina.
not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
मैं तेरे को स्पॉइलर मांगा ये क्या बात
Yes,
होगी
she was quite cryptic, but perhaps it is something. Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has often but even so. Perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. I did originally think of steering clear of.
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go. It was worth trying, I suppose. That.
Oh, okay.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. But also, hey, Traveler, Paimon suddenly... Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
ये छुपा हुआ क्यों है इससे
Huh? Our names... Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. But my recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed. She hasn't been able to get a hold of any. Ugh, seriously?
वाह
Well, we're here! Paimon's hungry.
एक
Should we
सेकंड
go in and get something to eat?
हेलो अद्या वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम आई लव यू
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried.
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow.
Oh, the prophecy. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please, I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
हाँ nice gesture though I really like the
And there
gesture
she
मतलब
goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon, it's more delicious. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious.
क्या जस्ट भैया अरे यही मतलब लोग सैड होते तो उनको डिलीशियस फूड दे दो वो अच्छी चीज है नॉट दैट बैड ऑफ अ थिंग मैं वैसे सोयाबीन की बिरयानी खा के आ रहा हूँ सोयाबीन
Oh,
अच्छी
we
भी
need
होती
a
है इसकी
secret
बिरयानी
office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
क्या भाई क्या क्या कंप्लीट करना है मेरे को ओह डैम भाई बहुत चीजें कंप्लीट करनी है मेरे को अब मेरी स्टोरी अटक गई है मतलब मेरे को ये सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा यही था ना मैं इधर जब जा रहा था कंसर्न You decide to go investigate the area. Only run into someone altogether except there. Go to the lower or chasm. You are returned to the spinal base in the fury and there you meet a friend. चलो वर्ल्ड क्वेस्ट ही मार लेते हैं।
Staring into my eyes is ill-advised. I can't promise you'll like what you see.
क्या है ये? लिवाई का था ना, लिवाई लिवाई। Complete the following quests. Commission Zhongzhou Commission. First, comment, meet new people and follow somebody. Zhongzhou Commission कौन सी होती है? रुको अभी आया मैं, ठीक है, मेरा ऑर्डर आ गया।
What could the children be up to? Never mind. Let them do as they please.
Should I save this money? I think I may have invested.
ओ हाँ, खा ले बिरयानी अपनी। अब देखा मैंने, खा ले बिरयानी, खा ले। जंगशुई कमीशन कौन सा हो रहा था? वो बुड्ढे का था ना जंगशुई कमीशन शायद। मुझे कोई बता दो यहाँ पे क्या करना है।
Should I save this money? I think I may have overeaten.
Try something new at the One Mean restaurant.
Leo's really got a lot going for it.
जंगशुई कमीशन कौन सी होती है? वो तलवारबाजी वाले कौन है? कहाँ है वो एरिया कौन सा है? वो ये तो नहीं है। अरे कौन सा कमीशन है ये?
Please take a seat.
I should open a store here.
मुझे क्यों नहीं समझ आ रहा है कौन सा कमीशन है ये?
You can't beat the atmosphere here in ATHEX.
रुको, I'll search for it. सर्च ही कर देता हूँ डायरेक्टली. GH.
How many days has Daddy been away?
I should open a store here. You can't beat the atmosphere here in ATHEX. I should open a store here.
Why'd they have to give me that transfer?
You can't beat the atmosphere here in ATHEX.
ओह, तो ये है.
I should open a store.
मैं भी सोच रहा था क्या है ये. यहीं पे है वो. रुको रुको. क्या था वो? फर्स्ट में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और ये पहले ये देखते. यही तो है, यही तो करना है. मैं भी सोचूं मैं किधर था. ओके.
Rain outlines your fate.
Dodge this!
Wanted my full attention, did you? Rain cutter.
Freeze! Dodge this! This moment will be frozen in time. Cool it. Freeze. Dodge this.
I hear
अरे यार
children singing.
Cool it. Don't get frostbite.
Wind, hear me. No, my sword.
Dodge this. Cool it.
Laid bare. This shall
अरे ये कैसे मर रही है बार बार पता नहीं वो बार बार कैसे मर रही है अरे यार मैं फिर गलत कर फिर गलती कितनी गलतियां करूंगा मैं Where is this? Yes, this is where. बैक भैया. Yes. यार मेरे लिए कुछ खाना खाना ऑर्डर कर दिया और कोई खाना नहीं खिलाता यार तू. आज तो फाड़ के रख देंगे. क्या फाड़ेंगे? खाना खा लिया? वो तूने खाया ना, मैंने मत खाया. और एक्ट 4 हेडफोन्स आ जाए फिर कर दूंगा भैया. अम्मी गरीब. मीटिंग न्यू पीपल. ओके, मीटिंग न्यू पीपल. चल.
What's the hurry? समझ नहीं आ रहा है. ये साइड क्वेस्ट है क्या? क्वेस्ट छोड़ दिया आपने? अरे वो हो नहीं रहे हैं, ये सब करना पड़ रहा है. ये वर्ल्ड क्वेस्ट है. करना ही पड़ रहा है, अब क्या करूं? मैं तो खत्म करने के मूड में था आज उसको. पाँच घंटे का है वो. आज तो कोई नहीं ना. सेकंड कैंप. ओ भाई मेरे को टीपी मैंने खोले ही नहीं है. पहुंच तो जाऊंगा ही. मेन टीपी तो मैंने खोले ही नहीं.
greater. This is where you fall.
गलती से दब गया यार। क्या दिखा रहा है वैसे? इट्स सेइंग कि ये क्वेस्ट कर लो। हाँ हाँ, ये देखो, यही करना है ना मेरे को। मुझे ये सब कंप्लीट करने पड़ेंगे पहले, वरना नहीं होगा कुछ भी। मुझे ये सब कंप्लीट करने पड़ेंगे अभी, ये सारे। बड़ा टाइम लगने वाला है मुझे लगता है।
Staring into my eyes is ill-advised. I can't promise you'll like what you see.
Want a taste of my hair?
Transfixed.
That tingle? That tingle?
This moment will be frozen in time.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Laid bare. I swear by my sword.
Picked the wrong test subject.
चलो। ओह, सेंस आ गया। एक इंसान इतना लेजी है कि उसका एक फाइल ओपन नहीं की जा रही है स्ट्रीम लैब्स में। अरे आती नहीं है, कर लेता, वरना स्ट्रीम लैब्स में ओपन तो कर ही लेता। तो ये साला कहाँ है? एटीपी ऊपर है कहीं? आपको हंटर्स और प्रॉफिट्स करना है। हाँ, वो पता नहीं उसमें क्या करना है मेरे को। और क्या करना है अब? भाई ये बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा हो जाएगा शायद। भाई नहीं नहीं, जो दिख रहा है मैं वही दबा रहा हूँ बस। जो मेरे को उधर दिख रहा है ना, मैं वही दबा रहा हूँ, खुद से तो कर ही नहीं रहा हूँ। कौन सा वाला बोल रहा है? हंटर्स एंड प्रॉफिट वाला करना है मेरे को। भाई उस पे डबल टैप करना है। ये होती है। तू क्या बोल रहा है क्रिस? ये वाला थोड़ी है मेरा आर्कन क्वेस्ट, ये है मेरा आर्कन क्वेस्ट एट दिस पॉइंट। नहीं,
यही है हाँ फक मैं क्या कर रहा था फिर अभी तक मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है जैंस तो क्या बोल रहा है सच बोलूंगा जैंस तेरे को मेरे साथ बैठना पड़ेगा तब वो होगा यार वरना मेरे से नहीं होता है वो हो गया
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry. It's all right, though. I've set aside.
Really? Well, Paimon knows you're...
Still, what bring?
A friend of ours met you.
Ah, so she mentioned.
She said that you're...
स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डिंग करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है ना
Of course it doesn't.
वो तो वैसा बैठेगा तो हो जाएगा
Why not?
Oh, and...
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much to...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If...
Huh. That's... If you're from what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed... Just think about it. If this Nate... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write... I'm not a dreamer, but anyway...
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Teyvat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask... We've always been moving to the next... You mean... still traveling? Huh.
ठीक है
Feels like you'll grow mold if you... But it's still better than the fortune...
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais...
Yes, I'm Isadora. Not at all. Yes, inside...
Alright!
Well, that Lady Farina loudly accusing her of doing nothing. And before she could respond, others started to... The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break...
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control, the Marechaussee fan...
So, you...
That's right. That said, I don't think they're good.
Don't worry.
Is that...
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we knew
Poisson!
as we were never,
Poisson!
it would be hard. Paimon thinks... Huh. Well, what do you... In that case... This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
मैं तो गिर ही गया
Farina, right?
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no... I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's... Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, dear? Who did that They even dare to tell... Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch...
Dude, क्या हो रहा है इधर?
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot.
What?
Hurry, they're on the...
Fine. I suppose I... No, I mean, I'm merely...
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, did it?
It can't be...
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made...
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of...
Poisson.
It's true. I've tried, but oh my, we cannot make an enemy of the give up. Indeed, fate. But just now, it all, as long as don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take Come
on!
Share. That's impossible. It was fated right... A witness. Yes, I've heard that, and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator.
What? तो ये था?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my... Now, without further ado, we may...
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the... Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very...
May I interpret these words as your refusal? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your...
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
What?
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on? I just...
Wow. How
Lady Farina, what is the
shh! It would seem that there has been a
Looking for excuses again.
I raise my hands. I will admit that I've been I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning. This time, I will protect you. Applaud! Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant
क्या कर रही है ये?
ever to grace the stage of
This is so annoying.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic,
All right, then.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well.
a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was, moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess, Nervilette, you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, all so that as soon...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Chlorand, I must commend you for your courage.
Thank
As for you, Traveler, I suppose you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? It's fine. It matters. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology trilogy of evidence. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. I didn't think this is the first time. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, the war near the fortress of Mir, a Fatui harbinger.
चलो मेन स्पेक्स रखी है और
The prosecution and the defense are both in position.
तो स्पेक्स भी
The
पहनता है
trial shall now begin.
Oh, just fast forward. Of course. It is only natural for humans.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a
एक सेकंड में आया
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I,
use करते हो बस
otherwise
ऐसे
known
ही
as Farina
अच्छा
de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common
You hear it,
sense
Farina, now?
will
Yes, I do.
prevail in this case.
मुझे ना इसका ये
Many of the
annoying
members of the audience have known me
ऐसे
as the Hydro
performer
Archon ever
बनना
since
पसंद
they
नहीं
were
है
born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the orator, if you wish to
An argument.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If I was not the...
That doesn't sound... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina. Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult.
Well, don't start celebrating too early. Besides,
यही मुझे इसका पसंद नहीं
everyone
है
knows for centuries, manifest one need only to turn their eyes.
That doesn't... You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against them.
I never thought you'd use that.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, You neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine
पाहिमान का
creation
गुस्सा भी
is
पाहिमान
God,
जितना ही छोटा
that
है.
the God behind it must also be no God at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident.
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection.
You don't.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archon thus did
Isn't that
चलो आप
a
बताओ
huge
क्या होगा.
stretch?
ये नहीं है
no
हाइड्रो
matter how
आर्कन,
generous
बट
an Archon
फुरीना
may
ही
be,
है
how
हाइड्रो
could they give
आर्कन.
up all their power?
मतलब
Can
ये
a
दो
god with
हैं.
no power even
मतलब ये एक नहीं है, बहुत सारे भी हो
Seems like
सकते हैं.
nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone! I'm still pleased.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of...
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. That does... It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago. Including those... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real... But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse.
इसके सारे 500 1000 से
Oh,
ये
and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson,
से ये Archon नहीं
nobody
है.
wants
That's
to
what you
see any
think,
more
lol.
people dissolve. I do hope
पता
you'll
नहीं.
act prudently and choose this.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina...
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she really...
Lady Farina, this test...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test...
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me! Will you believe me?
Miss Siegewien? If you're present, Miss Siegewien.
Siege? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which...
Thank you, Miss Siegewien. Lady Farina...
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved.
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't
वैसे
actually
you're somewhat
used.
correct.
Farina could have.
मुझे क्यों लग रहा है बहुत सारे लोग हैं
Can't believe.
जैसे डेंड्रो और का था
Listen to me, everyone. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare? Please, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
अब तो बोल दे सच
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges.
The fuck?
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The fuck?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been...
Yeah! Even Vache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know...
Indeed. Not only is Farina's... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
क्या हो रहा है?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission, Father.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the name...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water, but has the trial...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to...
Huh? So what do you see?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon? So when you say Hydro Archon, do you...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make.
Okay, let's try to recall the content.
Ah.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But this must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon... The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking into the sea, surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen.
We know from the Perhaps what is about to take place, the true sin of the Hydro Archon and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slate. It's not as simple as when Navia fell into the sea. Her consciousness was subject. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be a... The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come if we hadn't dealt with it in time. Things...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps... Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter... The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events.
Okay, complete क्यों नहीं हो रहा है ये?
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. We're not real human.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first that could have...
The Hydro Archon...
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of...
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, however, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, now that the slate collection is complete...
Come on, bhai, kar lo.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Arch. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to...
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates wasn't. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the 3rd slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the 4th slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, this eruption is just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the...
The truth, the original sin.
वो चाइल्ड है क्या? ये कौन है? चाइल्ड? चाइल्ड ही है। The fuck?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is. That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, it's...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontainians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not... We've already done everything we can, and we've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible...
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance...
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may be... Just as prophecies are
किससे बात कर रहा है
usually
ये?
only the
ये
future,
बात
as
किससे कर रहा है?
seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
ये बात किससे कर रहा है?
Ultimately,
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
मतलब मुझे क्यों नहीं समझ आता इधर पे क्या हो रहा होता है। इसकी स्टोरी इतनी कॉम्प्लेक्स क्यों कर रखी है इन्होंने। नॉर्मली स्टोरी बता सकते थे ना, कॉम्प्लेक्स क्यों करनी थी। डोंट टेल मी ए फर्स्ट हाइड्रो आर्कन थी, नॉट फोरिना।
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing.
You are not Farina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question...
Fusolo, why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between.
She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
भाई साहब क्या ही स्टोरी है.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need. I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontainians are a... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Dodge this!
Transfixed! Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Overruled.
Let me weave you a verse.
Dodge this!
Bursting as the moon.
चलो अब करेगी बात ये.
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... Mirror me? Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will all...
Oh.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've...
But doesn't...
Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save everyone. But
Oh, so as for this... But if the prophet... If there were scale...
I suppose this would all...
Huh?
Don't worry. It...
Play at...
That's right. If you can keep...
But...
Don't worry. Being a human yourself, remember.
क्या हो रहा है?
How long...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to but
A trial.
इतना स्लो चलती है ये.
The maze... What should I say? I'm sure you've all heard. In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, this... I thought I might...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpassed...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going right? Calm down, Farina. Assertive. Now, I was wondering if some... you may Now then, let us be...
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were...
Personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful.
क्या ही चल रहा
She
है?
may yet be right after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want. There is, so long as
भाई ये खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा. खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है भाई.
Lady Farina.
Come, besides.
That's true,
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina,
No need to thank. All right.
He's...
Lady Farina.
I see. It's as I thought. All manner. Really?
I'm...
The day is finally over, but it's good to maybe this is fun.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports.
They'll...
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant...
Understood. I feel...
कितने सीन्स हैं भाई?
Lady Farina, I've heard that the first... Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the
No.
So, hundreds of I never imagined. Have I want to die. I've conducted so many, and all I can do is keep up.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from...
Share. That's impossible.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with...
A witness. And if Teyvat is in its entirety... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out... No, Farina. But what if, Farina, is it sad if you let the think about it long and hard?
Oh.
No. All you need to do, dear spectator, is
ये तो वो वाला सीन है जो जब पकड़ा था इसको उसके अंदर.
Fine.
खत्म हुआ.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth?
Yes, she did very well. if she had let her resolve falter even, it seems that trusting
I believe that. How would you build?
Ah, good, good. Of course the Eudex of Fontaine has... I'm sure you...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a... It now seems that...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes. Alas, you're... In truth, it is no... Oh, you... My work. But really, the vast majority has been... had to be... accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan.
Indeed. This power accrued over 5 centuries, but only power of...
So the oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydra. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand...
Returning what's rightfully you. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet. Oh, what? Getting sad again, are the authority of the ancient dragons.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principle stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that so, if the theft of the primordial sea, then... leaving, in other words, defying the at this point, Eudex nervous.
So when at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of... You are a devious one, for things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
क्या बकवास हो रही है इधर?
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
भाई साहब
Judex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
यार न्यूलेट यार ये बीच में पिस गया.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But
It's time to end this. We must...
didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue Traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enact come with me, Traveler. The hour of execution.
Yes.
Done my best to separate the power from my bodies in the way. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. I shall look for an opening to sorrow turning into hostility. Cool it. The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
भाई क्या लड़ रहा हूँ मैं यार? क्या है ये?
Seize the moment and use my power to suppress these roots from within.
Rain outlines your fate.
Freeze!
Push your luck.
पता नहीं कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है. Who the fuck are you?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It was just supposed to be a short private train. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they...
That power.
Hyman has an idea. From what she said, it's just that he gave us the impression that she was,
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak.
Crick. क्या नाम है?
So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. All in all...
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this... So what sort of person...
Oh, right. His name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then?
The foul?
Still nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all such roiling hydro energy. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne.
What the fuck? Hello, Min.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine.
पता है खतरनाक फाइटिंग सीन तुमने मिस कर दिया क्या बैड बैकग्राउंड सॉन्ग चल रहा था क्या मजा है उसमें
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry!
What the? मैंने उसे स्ट्रीम नहीं किया मैं वो ऑलरेडी देख रखी हूँ क्या यार मतलब फाउंटेन में कोई जगह नहीं रही फाउंटेन में रहने की अब सब पानी के ऊपर ही रहेंगे शिप के अंदर
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
भाई न्यूलैंड जब रो रहा था भाई
देख के मुझे भी बुरा लगा भाई। न्यूलेट जब रो रहा था इतना वो वाला सीन था, लेकिन इमोशनल सीन था।
The soaring old soil can skyship winglet, booner bay, the various disputes. People always. Wow, Paimon barely recognizes the people in the Republic.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoop. Edwin's assistant, jurier, create.
Paimon's curious.
डैम, फॉन्टेन की स्टोरी क्या है भाई? फॉन्टेन की स्टोरी क्या है? वो श्रिक कौन है जो एंड पे आई थी?
Come on, let's head to Poisson first.
श्रिक, मिस श्रिक ऐसे करके बोला था ना। नाले। हाँ चलो, ये क्वेस्ट तो आज खत्म हो जाएगा।
Oh, it's you?
Hey,
I'm here to update myself. Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garun. Our residents are...
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. But if you don't mind...
I get where you're coming from.
That would be fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down...
Huh?
Well, her reputation's
कल
greatly
लास्ट
risen after
एग्जाम,
that whole duel
उसके बाद मैं
business with
घर
Miss
जाऊंगी
Farina.
एक हफ्ते।
So
मजे
she's
कर।
here in
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson.
Oh, wait, just a moment. Do you mind me asking if...
Forget it.
I see.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for mice...
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then...
I'm missing him a lot. Whom you're missing?
Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look cute in it?
Not bad. Your
क्या तेरी
addition
पापा के
really
साथ
helped the
पहले
composition of the
बिरयानी
picture.
डेट पे
All
जाऊंगी।
right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots.
पापा को मिस कर रही है क्या? बिरयानी डेट पे
All right,
पापा के
that should
साथ।
do
वाह।
it. I'll be back here later anyway, so
बड़े भाई
let's
को भी
call it
भेज
a
दे।
day.
बड़े इसको भी भेज दे बिरयानी।
Very quick.
ये बड़े भाई को भी भेज
Speed
दे।
is of the essence when it
ये वाले
also
बड़े भाई
not to
को कुछ नहीं
brag, but
मिलेगा।
I'm pretty good at...
Wow.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview.
Whoa, you're well...
That's a...
In truth, I told him that it
मेरे
was best
साथ
not to speak too soon.
मेरे को भी बिरयानी खिला दो भाई, मेरे को भी
Right.
KFC खिला दो।
I've got to treasure every moment I
एड्रेस दे
have
दो।
with them.
Stay safe now.
मत सा भेजो। अरे इसका फिनाले ही नहीं हो रहा खत्म। भैंचो इतना दूर। अच्छा मैं सबको बाय करने आया हूँ। मेरा एड्रेस क्रिस के पास है वैसे देखा जाए तो।
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a realness.
Looks like you've been missing it.
Duke! Did you?
Of course.
It's an honor to...
No need to thank me.
Of course, of...
All right then, this way.
बस करो ना यार।
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want...
Sir, please.
But it...
No, I...
Now, I might not look it, but I at the boat that brought about... Still, if I might...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory.
Really?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps...
Did you really have to use the word... Well, then, so...
Is my hair messed up?
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to...
Ah.
Hey, Miss Sharp.
Sure. Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been?
Same old, same old.
Other than that flying ship. It got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through.
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have.
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about you? Are things gonna change for you too?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
ठीक है.
Good. In that case, let's call it a...
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go.
There'll be an...
Maybe? All right, last stop, the docks.
Where is the docks? भैयो या बोलो बोलो. बाय द वे ये डॉग्स वाला कल करते हैं. आई हैव टू गो नाउ. ठीक है, मेरे को कोई बुला रहा है, कुछ करना है. डॉग्स वाला कल करते हैं. ठीक है. और अगर मेरे को ये आ गया हो तो मैं वो भी पुल करना चाहूंगा. छोड़ो अभी के लिए. यस, पुल कर सकते हैं. यस, व्हाई कांट वी पुल? यस, वी कैन पुल. हम पुल करने वाले हैं. भाई मेरे साथ आते तुम जा रहे हैं. मेरे आते ही तुम जा रहे हैं. नहीं, कल मिलेंगे फिर ना. नहीं, मैं नहीं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ जलों के लिए. मैं बस अलग अलग उसके लिए ट्राई कर रहा हूँ. पेट बढ़ा रहा हूँ अपनी. पेट बढ़ा रहा हूँ. वो निकलेगी भी नहीं एक एक करके. देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी. अरे वो नहीं निकलेगी, तो चिल करना. वो नहीं निकलेगी. मुझे इतना अपने लक पे भरोसा हो चुका है कि वो नहीं निकलने वाली. हो गया बस. अच्छी है रे, निकाल दो भाई. नहीं, वो अच्छी नहीं है और मेरे को नहीं चाहिए. इनमें से दोनों में से मेरे को कोई नहीं चाहिए. चलो अब मैं स्ट्रीम बंद करने वाला हूँ. ठीक है, आज के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा खेल लिया हमने. बहुत मतलब थोड़ा लंबा भी कर दिया मैंने. स्ट्रीम को थोड़ा एक्सटेंड कर दिया. 2 घंटे ही करने वाला था लेकिन थोड़ा लंबा कर दिया. मेरे को अगर काम नहीं आ रहा होता मैं बराबर 1 बजे तक खींचता. ठीक है, मुझे नहीं चाहिए वैसे भी मिन. चलो कल आ जाना मिन. कल मेरे को पार्टी देगी मिन तू. ठीक है, मिन तू मुझे कल पार्टी दे रही है. आई डोंट नो. मिन मेरे को कल पार्टी दे रही है क्योंकि ये जा रही है भाई बाप के साथ जा रही है वो खाना खाने. मेरे को पार्टी देगी कल. ठीक है, तू कल देगी. कल ही देगी तू. 3 दिन बाद नहीं होता कुछ. ना 3 दिन कल ही मिलेगी मेरे को पार्टी, है ना. कल मेरे को बिरयानी पार्टी मिल रही है फ्रॉम मिन. ठीक है, ओके बाय. चल जंस, ख्याल रखियो अपना. चलो, स्टे हैप्पी, स्टे सेफ एवरीवन.